All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about why even the tiniest safety shortcut can and often does lead to absolute disaster. We're going to look at the raw, unforgiving physics that rule every single worksite and see just how fast things can spiral out of control. First up, let's talk about gravity. It is not a suggestion, it is a constant threat. Anytime you've got a crane lifting a huge panel or a crew trying to move a tall stack of glass, you're creating a high center of gravity. And the second that balance point shifts, even a little, gravity takes over with terrifying force. These things don't just fall over. They whip around, they accelerate, and once they start to go, there is zero chance of stopping them. And that danger gets even worse when you add momentum into the mix. Just picture a big, heavily loaded truck trying to take a turn a little too fast. All that weight wants to keep going straight, and suddenly the whole thing just rolls. Or think about a worker pushing a heavy cart down a ramp. Gravity turns that weight into speed, and that thing is just gone. Once that kind of momentum builds up, stopping it is pretty much a fantasy. And the last law we have to respect is pressure. Whether it's a concrete hose packed with wet cement or a simple overhead water pipe, that contained energy is a hidden bombshell. When that pressure finds a way out unexpectedly, it's not a leak, it's a violent explosion. That hose will whip around like an angry snake, and a pipe can unleash a blast powerful enough to cause serious damage. Okay, so we've seen the physics, right? They're absolute. They don't care if you're having a good day or a bad day. So now, let's talk about why the rules we create to protect ourselves from these forces are so unbelievably important. It's a fair question, isn't it? You might be thinking, are they just more paperwork, red tape designed to slow us down? Well, the real answer is, unfortunately, a whole lot darker than that. There's this saying you'll hear from old-timers in safety-critical jobs, and it is absolutely chilling because it's true. Every single rule, every checkbox, every procedure you're asked to follow, it's there because someone somewhere got horribly injured or worse, didn't go home at all. These aren't just rules, they're lessons learned from tragedies. And that brings us to the Standard Operating Procedure, or SOP. Look, this isn't just some boring manual. Think of it as your battle plan. It's a strategy written ahead of time, using the hard-won knowledge from past failures, all designed to defeat the hazards we just talked about. Its only purpose is to keep you safe by taking the guesswork out of the equation when the stakes are life and death. To really understand the human cost of ignoring these battle plans, I need to tell you the story of a guy named Mark. So, Mark was a senior tech at a chemical plant. He was experienced, he knew his stuff, and his task for the day was super simple. Just top up a solvent tank. This was a job he had done literally hundreds of times before. He could probably do it in his sleep. Now, the SOP for this job had 3 ridiculously simple, life-saving steps. 1. Put on your protective gear. 2. Connect a grounding clamp to the tank to prevent static electricity. 3. Get a supervisor to quickly check and sign off. That's it. Simple. But Mark was in a hurry that day. He probably thought, it's just a quick top-up, it'll be fine. So he didn't put on his PPE, he didn't bother with a grounding clamp, and he never went to get a supervisor. He skipped every single step. As he was pouring the solvent, a single, tiny, invisible spark of static electricity jumped from the nozzle to the tank. And that's all it took. The solvent vapors instantly ignited, and a massive explosion just tore the room apart. Mark didn't make it, and 3 of his coworkers ended up in the hospital with terrible burns. After the investigation, OSHA, the Federal Workplace Safety Agency, came in and fined the company $178,000. The reason? Failing to make sure its own safety rules were being followed. But really, what does a number like that even mean in the face of tragedy? As one report on the incident noted, Mark's wife didn't care one bit about the money. She just wanted her husband back. And no amount of money in the world can ever fix that. Mark's story is a total tragedy, but what's really terrifying is that the mindset that led to it, well, it's incredibly common. So let's break down why good, experienced people take these kinds of deadly shortcuts. This here really nails it. It's this battle in our heads between the shortcut mentality and the unforgiving reality. We think, I've done this 100 times. But the reality is, complacency is the most dangerous thing on any job site. We tell ourselves, it's just a quick job, but physics couldn't care less. One spark is all it takes. We feel like, this checklist is such a nuisance, when that checklist is the only thing standing between you and disaster. It's your lifeline. And look, The root causes here go way deeper than just one person's bad decision. Yeah, it's complacency for sure, but it's also intense pressure from the top to work faster. It's not getting the right training in the first place. It's weak leadership that pays lip service to safety but doesn't really mean it. And it's a culture where rules are just words in a book that everybody ignores. So what do we do about it? How do we make sure there isn't another story like Mark's? It really comes down to each person making a conscious choice every single day to do things the right way. This is how you make those procedures your lifeline. First, you follow the SOP to the letter, every single time, no exceptions. Second, you demand proper training. If you don't feel confident, you don't do the job, period. Third, you make sure the procedures are actually up to date. If the gear changes, the rules have to change with it. Fourth, you hold your team accountable. If you see a buddy skipping a step, you say something. And finally, number 5, if you're a leader, a supervisor, a manager, your number one job is to enforce these rules. I want to leave you with this one final thought. If it's not secured, it's already moving. Now, that's not just about tying down a load on a truck. It's a whole mindset. A disaster is set in motion long before the actual crash or the explosion. It starts the moment someone decides to take a shortcut, to skip that one little step, to just assume it'll be fine. Secure your procedures first, because that's what truly secures your safety.